Shalom. I'm Rabbi Michael Panitz, speaking to you from the pulpit of Temple Israel of Norfolk, Virginia. At this time, I'm speaking in the aftermath of a very sad moment, the tragedy of the tornadoes that devastated so much of Middle West America, especially Kentucky. And my message is entitled very simply, Will You Help? In ordinary times, we invoke ordinary theological texts. We take the existence of our houses for granted, and so we seek to instill a sense of ethical responsibility and spiritual sensitivity in those who live in them, rather than focusing on the blessing of having a house at all. We say with the psalmist, Psalm 127, "Unless the Lord build a house, in vain do its builders build." But a time of disaster is not an ordinary time. What do our religious texts teach us about times such as these? Times such as the time we're in right now? That we need God's mercy to withstand and to rebuild. To quote the prayer from the Grace After Meals that Jews recite, that prayer itself paraphrasing the prophet Amos, chapter 9, "May the merciful one raise for us the fallen sukkah of David, the fallen booth, the fallen home." Dear friends, we've experienced a genuine disaster. Fellow Americans are in need, their homes and businesses destroyed in an instant. Many have died, and all of us are painfully reminded of the fragility of life. Kentucky. Someone might say, we're not living in Kentucky. But the truth is we could be. And another truth is that no matter where we live, we are neighbors. As the great German Jewish rabbi Joachim Prinz, a refugee from the Nazis who came to America, and then a leader in the civil rights movement, as he preached, neighbor is not a geographical concept, it is a moral concept. Keeping this in mind, we know that the great teaching of our tradition for a time such as this especially is the Ahavta l'reacha kamocha, Leviticus 19. Love your neighbor as yourself. Hillel the Elder, the founding father almost of Rabbinic Judaism, taught that if we needed to reduce the Torah to one precept, it would be precisely this. My message is therefore as simple as it is urgent. Please, please, open your hearts, open your hand to help your neighbors in need. To pray for God to rebuild is the first part of the needed response, but not its completion. Completion comes with active compassion, with deeds and gifts of loving kindness. We at Temple Israel have already begun our response. Our Minyan Fund, which is the charitable fund to which those who come to our daily chapel service contribute. We call it the Minyan Fund. Our Minyan Fund has already sent a meaningful sum to the United Jewish Federation of Louisville, Kentucky, which is partnering with the local Red Cross to distribute relief to those in need. And 100% of sums donated go to the Red Cross. There's none held back for any overhead. Turning to our fellow congregants, to whatever extent we enjoy lives of comfort, we need to be mindful that we have received blessings. The Jewish imperative for the moment is to share our blessings. I appeal to you to share your blessings with the victims of the tornado. Please send what you can to Temple Israel, and on the memo line of the check, write Tornado Relief. We will aggregate the funds received and send off a second donation to the Louisville United Jewish Federation to continue the charitable outreach we have already begun. If you are beyond the congregation, your help is also much appreciated. But if you have another preferred channel for giving, there's no competition here. The point is to do the good that is urgently needed, and the time is now. In the words of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 58, this is what the Lord desires: to share your bread with the hungry, and to take the wretched poor into your home. When you see the naked, to clothe them, and do not ignore your own flesh. Then shall your light burst through like the dawn, and your healing spring up quickly. Amen.